Welcome to the next episode of Brain Hope Reality. I have an amazing guest today, Michelle Poe. She is not boring, I can tell you that for a fact. That is a highly energetic woman with a lot of brain, and she has, being the tough lady that she is, first she sent her daughter to me to see how it goes with her. And then she decided, okay, you didn't do anything bad to the daughter. She was get better, so I'm going to come in. This is a brave soul, definitely.
You're beautiful.
Back at you, sister.
You're beautiful.
Anyway, so with that preamble, I thought maybe you can tell us briefly who you are and your background. And one of my big parts of I'm very interested in is PTSD in children. It is a highly under recognized area. People don't pay enough attention to it. Suicide rates in teenagers are highest it's ever been. Preteens are starting to take their lives, which is extremely scary. Current numbers in the United States, it's 11 every 11 minutes somebody killed themselves in the United States. And those are just horrific numbers.
And that's for everybody, all people, every
Yeah,
11 minutes?
just the United States. No, it's not children, just everyone. That
Everyone.
includes people say 24 fatalities a day from military, right? But 11 per day, I think, turns out to be about 350 per day or something like that, which is horrible. And part of the reason I care about it is my mother took her life when I was an intern. So I'm very much into recognition and prevention of suicidal ideation and completion of suicides. One thing I want to tell you about, I heard an interesting story. So, so there was one veteran who attempted suicide, and fortunately he didn't die. But the way he explained it to his body, he said, "I just wanted to die for a little bit," meaning it was so painful to live, but he didn't want to be dead. He just wanted to get out of this hell of pain, of emotional pain and this pain and that pain, and he really wanted to just end it because it was too painful. But he really didn't think he's going to die forever. Well, unfortunately, death is kind of a forever condition.
Yes.
Anyway, with that happy note, let's talk about something happier. Anyway, so can we talk about your daughter? If that's okay. And I hear you have full permission from your daughter. So anybody who can write me, how dare you talk about children? I think somebody needs to talk about children.
Absolutely.
And then the mother gives, got permission from the daughter. And again, if the daughter says at any point we don't want to do it, then we'll take it down, of course. Anyway, with
Yes.
that preamble, you're on.
Well,
Woohoo!
first of all,
You're subtle as always.
yes, I will just say, for those of you out there that are looking to go to a Stella location, whether it be with Dr. Eugene or somewhere else, I'll just tell you, the moment that you start the process from the consultation, the team, to going to the facility, to being there, feeling comfortable. I will say that our coach, Austin Kip, shared with us Stella specifically and said, this is where, Elise should really go. And I haven't shared this, I don't think, with you, but he said, especially because the bedside manner of the teams at Stella are going to be exactly what your daughter needs. He was very, very protective of where she would go to have something like this done. And so I just want to say, from somebody like him that we completely trust, which was a total God thing that we were led to him, that's a whole nother story. And it made sense. But then from him saying we needed to be at Stella because of Elise's abuse, her journey, and the bedside manner that would come from you and your team, it's a mother's dream as far as when you're going to go through something like this, through that process, to have that safe place and that empathy or sympathy is a huge thing. And for you walking into the room, bringing light, bringing love, bringing compassion, but bringing fun, the fun factor, but also meeting her where she is as an individual, as a teenager, and it was beautiful. So I just want to thank you. And I want to make sure that your audience just knows that, because it can be a scary thing, right? When you're going to go through some of these things and the unknowns are there. And I'm very, very protective of anybody that I share anything with. And so I want to make sure that is very much known as well. I would never get on a podcast or speak to an audience if it wasn't something that I fully and completely believed in and that would make a tremendous impact. That's what my life is built on. How can we serve and impact the people in front of us? And so, having read your book the moment that we left the clinic from Elise, our daughter, I got to know another part of you through your book, and your story that you shared with your mother, and just your journey through all of it, and what you've been through all these years. I just want to thank you so much. I know we need to get to Elise, but it's really important for people to know this is safe.
You can make it longer if you like. Just tell me, knock it off, knock it off. Just stop, 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 stop.
Important.
I did not. The only thing I did not prompt that, right?
Yeah, no, he did not prompt that. He just said, we're going to have a conversation and let's go. It's just so important. It's just so important that people know that there's so much more to these things. But if you go into a facility and if it's cold and if it's a procedure and if you're a number and if you don't have that safe place, it's not going to be the same experience. It's just not.
Well, actually, to that, how we did. Let me tell you how that facility came about.
Okay, please.
So the person who is the owner of the facility, or Stella, basically said, we'd like to make sure it's comfortable and beautiful. And then he took input from me and young lady KB, who's an amazing designer.
Mm.
And then she's also our social media person. But my criteria, I've done VA work, I've done trauma work in county, and I've been to Northwestern. That's where I went to medical school. So the basic things that no green, because military people get scared.
Oh, yes.
Never stink, right? If it stinks, that's like scary as hell. The first piece of equipment we bought was a blanket warmer, because women are always cold. I usually, for young women especially, I probably dragged out a blanket and covered her up because they always get cold.
Yep.
We always keep her warm. And as far as the staff, our first attempt at staff was interesting. They did not consult me enough. Then somehow or other, those people departed. And then I brought in people, like one of them that I've known since 18 years old, and now she's 34. So I worked with those people in other places, and the best people that we could possibly find. And we all get along, and we have a great team. And that's why, we're comfortable taking care of 8-year-old children, right? Because most people are like, nah, I don't think I want to do something that young. And the other thing is, people don't realize that childhood trauma can present at a 5-year-old and an 8-year-old. You don't have to be an adult to have PTSD. You could sure have it early.
Facts.
Right? Anyway,
a million.
I'm so proud of our facility and the people. I think they're amazing.
Yeah.
Hopefully, this is what you're seeing.
Well, that's just it.
I give warm blankets all the time.
Well, I'm telling you, the warm blankets are the it. They
I
are
agree.
the it.
It's a secret sauce.
It's huge. I mean, it gave my daughter Elise, when she got there, because you come in, you walk into the room, you go into the room for your treatment, and immediately they gave her a warm blanket. So immediately, that's a warm hug. It's a good feeling. And the same thing happened for me and for my husband. And yes, women like warmth. There's just something good, and I'm not saying men don't either, but I'm speaking for myself.
Women are always cold.
Yeah.
A lot of men tell me, it's like, my wife's feet are freezing. My wife's feet freeze too. So she uses me as a warmer. That's always like.
We do that. We do that. Good morning.
Hello, time. Okay, start to get the coffee. Okay. Bye-bye.
The facility, thank you, and all that. And Elise, our daughter, she is now 18. And yes, exactly what you just stated. She has given full permission. Sorry, my video is doing a little weird thing here. She has absolutely given full permission for you and I to be having this conversation today. It's not even permission, it's mission, right? Her heart is to impact others. And she really wants her abuse, her story, whatever you want to call it, it happened and we can't take that back. But how can she impact and share her story to impact others is a huge thing. And Elise was abused when she was right around, let me see if I have my video here, 7 years old. And now she's 18. And interestingly, I was also abused at that age. So I personally did not share that with anybody, nobody, until after my beautiful Elise was abused. And after she was abused, I told my husband right away, whom I've known my husband since I was in 6th and he was in 7th grade. Like, we know everything about each other. Yeah, we know everything about each other. Yeah, and all the things. But that was the one thing I always kept in. It started, why I never did was because I wanted to protect my mother. She was a single mom. She's my hero. She was working hard to take care of us. And I was at a babysitter's home. And it was the babysitter's husband that abused me.
Oh my God.
And it was nothing that, I mean, she's, like I said, she's my hero. And I knew she was working for us. And if she would have known that that happened, that would have tore her apart, completely tore apart. So I kept that within myself all those years. And it's hard. And so when you say, so that was 7. So when you say young kids, can go through PTSD or PTSI, 1,000,000%, I felt it. And watching my beautiful Elise Vera, she was so brave because we were gone. And she was home with a woman that we completely trust. She's family, nanny, like the best person ever. You trust them with your life, right? She was with our kids. And yeah, yeah. You would never dream anything. And we had, so our daughters went to a Spanish immersion school here in Sioux Falls is where we live. And we had an immersion teacher that came and stayed with us for a year, beautiful Christina. And so she lived with us. She was an intern and she was from Barcelona. And she quickly became like a daughter, a sister, a best friend. And we were so tight. And then we went to Barcelona, our entire family, to see her family. Her family had come to our house, and then we went there another time. Like, it's family. Doctor, what are the statistics for individuals that are abused that come from family or close individuals? Do you know off the top of your head? Like the close people.
High.
Yeah.
It's much higher than you think. Probably, I don't know, it's my guess. So before I answer that question,
yeah,
I premise one thing. So one of the adventure of the procedure that we do, or I do, is people don't have to tell me the story, right? It's
right.
extremely painful to tell the story, especially for a child to have him recount that.
Yes.
I think that's re-traumatizing. So I've never asked what happened, how it happened.
Yep.
Doesn't matter. My perspective is crazy stuff happens in the world. I cannot fix that, but
Yes.
hopefully I can help people recover. That's our perspective. So the point is that you don't need to talk about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think to give you a direct answer, I think 1/3 of children abuse, like sexual abuse, is either a close family friend or a family member.
Yeah, I know it was
Brother, sister, whatever, all of that.
Yeah,
I think that's about my number.
I know it's really high. I know it's shockingly high.
Much higher than you think.
Yeah, like I think it might even be higher than that, but I just don't want to speak incorrectly.
I don't know the exact number. The other thing is, keep in mind, whatever number it is, it's much higher than you think because people don't report it.
People don't report
For
it.
multiple reasons, right?
Yep.
Because if you look at just across the board, 1/3 of women are sexually attacked in the United States in their lifetime. one third. Probably it's one half.
Right. For sure.
I mean, what the hell, right? And
Sure.
half of those guys develop PTSD. So you're looking at 150 million. So 75 million will have a sexual attack in their
Yes.
lifetime, and half of them will develop PTSD probably, which is 35 million or 37.5 million. Those are staggering numbers. So when people tell me, "Oh, PTSD only occurs in
Right.
5% of the population," it's like you're dreaming. I don't know if you've been smoking, but something.
And to be honest, I don't, I mean, I'm sure there are people that don't get it, but I don't really know how you can't. I mean, this is
Yeah,
just
I
this is
don't know.
my experience, but
The point is, if I may, let's just focus on you. Let's not
yes,
go to your daughter.
yeah,
To me, I'm a male. Right? Men have different issues.
yeah, yeah.
To me, physiologically, holding it in is very devastating to the body. What is the emotional experience of holding something like that in? Is it mainly shame? What is it? You think fear, shame, everything together, depression? I don't know.
I think, and I think it's shame. I think it's not wanting to bother somebody with the information. I think it's
That's
um, fear of, what are they going to think? Did they do something to encourage it, or did they do something? I think it's all the unknowns which don't bring
sad.
peace.
I mean, to me, that's extremely sad. Having
Yeah.
been a trauma surgeon, I used to deal with that. I had a month. That's all I did all day long. I was like, it was not so good after that month.
Yes.
But the point is, I mean, think about it. When people say, I've heard some testimony, crazy ass stuff, and people go, well, they encouraged it. At 7 years old, nobody, even if you can perceive it coquettish,
Right.
hello.
No,
There's no way, there's no reason to blame women. I mean, that's just so crazy to me that people blame women
yes.
for having a good figure. It's just God built you that way.
Yes. Yeah.
Not doesn't I mean, leave it alone. I mean, like that's what you, especially as an adult, and you're looking at a child. I'm not even talking about adult, but that's crazy. What kind of defense is that? That's
For
crazy.
sure. For sure. Well, and I just want to say too, what you said in the beginning as far as sharing of a story. I want to just say for people to know that as they go through a consultation, we didn't know what to expect going into the consultation. And so we just started talking because we didn't know, anything. And your staff was so amazing. And they said, whoa, 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 you can stop right there. You don't need to share anymore because, it's a lot to talk about.
It's
So
re-traumatizing. It's bad for the system. If you think about it, your fight and flight system, this is something I know a lot about.
yes.
If you continue to ding it and they activate it, it's bad for you. You know
Yes.
it's bad for you.
Yes. And we all feel it. And it's, yeah.
Right.
So,
So
and
perfect. So then kind of let's go to the positive, right? So we kind of went in the dark hole, let's pull out of the hole.
yes.
Uh, so what do you think was the biggest change after you had your stellar ganglion block?
Well, for me personally, and it's been right at the 2 week mark. So I'm right at the 2 week. Um, for me personally, it has been the quiet. It has been the not like up like thinking 1,000 things all at once, which my personality is go, go, go. It's just how I've been all my life. I love to do things. I love to serve people. I love to so that is still there. So I want people to really understand my drive has not changed, but my up and down and worry of like my worries would go to the worst right away. I mean, I would never tell anybody that, right? Because I've learned through the years how to manage it myself, to think to the positive, change that thought. Michelle, no, no, no. Like I've learned to do that, but that doesn't mean that my chest wouldn't be tight, that it wasn't like constant chatter in this head and
Can I
not
interrupt
able
you for
to
1 second?
stable.
I
Yes.
want to tell you a cute story. So we treated a guy, he writes science fiction stories. So the way he described it after the block, he said the chattering monkeys in his head stopped chattering.
Yes. That's
And
it. And it's kind of weird. It's
it's
kind of
like,
like,
what happened? Where did they go? Where did the monkeys go?
that's exactly it. Cause you're like, it's true.
That's a great description. I
That,
love
that
that.
actually is that is the perfect way to describe it because it is like I'm how I'm looking. It is like where yeah, it's the chattering monkeys. So that has just been completely like shockingly in 2 weeks. And I'll even say right after the second one that you did on my left side, and I remember saying to you right away, I said I feel different. Like
So you think the left? What do you think the difference was from the right side to the left side, if you remember?
the right, oh yes, totally remember the right side. It was beautiful. My husband was there as well. And I laid there and I felt a difference. And I had a calm, I cried, because you guys so beautifully, you'll leave the room and just let us be. And I cried and it felt like a beautiful release. And then the next day when you did the left side, which I've learned through you guys that the left side more if you've had trauma, correct me if I'm wrong, 10 years or under, which mine was,
Younger. I haven't been able to prove it yet, but
yeah,
that's my experience.
approximately, yeah. And so I just remember, saying to you, I'm like, okay, let's get the show on the road. That's this side. And you did it. And right when you were like immediately when you were done and it pulled out, like it was a full out cry. Like I said, I felt different. And then you were so beautiful. And you said, leave it all in the room. We will clean up the floors later.
That's right. I say that all the time. Yeah.
Forget that. Because that was like, I can totally lay it all out. And I had my hat on, I'm just laying there and I was like pulling my hat off and my body, my legs were going back and forth. And it was a complete release. And it was like, get out of me. Like this, it was just like a total, like, get out of me is what I was feeling. And it was just like freedom.
So
Like,
it was more of a dramatic change, would you say?
yes, it was more dramatic the second day. The first day was dramatic too, but the second day was definitely more dramatic. 100%. Even the recovery, which the recovery wasn't bad at all, but as you saw me, like, oh, you think you're okay to stand up, walk into the room and sitting down. Even after the procedure, the day after, we were flying back home to South Dakota, and I walked over. We were in the room and my husband and I were there and I just walked over. He was just talking and I just gave him a random hug. And during that random hug, which again, we've known each other forever, and I'm not, I'm a feeler of a person, but it's not like I cry all the time. Like I'll cry in a movie or cry, like I feel things, but I hugged him and it was just like, tears coming, love felt, like hope. I heard cars outside in Chicago, right? The busy highway. I could hear the cars. And I remember when we were getting up and I said to him, wow, there's just a lot of activity. And I kept thinking of like the busyness of people's lives. And then I was like, I just want them to feel calm and peace. Like that's what came to me. And I think it's because that's how I was feeling, was like at peace. But I could hear like the busyness, but it was like, I hope that these people are feeling. It was interesting. It was just an interesting thing that came.
You were able to connect to your husband better, would you say?
I was able to immediately connect to my husband. And when I got home with our other daughter, who's now 21, um, when I saw her, it was a hug, and it was like I couldn't let her go hug. Same thing that happened with my husband. Like I just could not let either of them go. Even today, I said, I hugged Sean a couple hours ago and I said, I could feel it. And I said, oh, I still need these, because it's just like this impactful, yeah, impactful hugs. And we're a hugging family. Like we're very connected and hug and touch, but it's a different, I don't know. It's a different feel now. It's just a,
Well, it's interesting. So I want to tell you kind of an interesting side story, but it has a really cute ending. I took care of this guy and his wife. He was a firefighter from Seattle, I believe. So he calls me back, and he did really well, and his wife did well. So he calls me back 2 years later after the procedure. He says, "Hey, doc, My wife and I have been trying to get pregnant for 15 years. So I said, okay. And he said, well, we had a child. I said, that's congratulations. I had nothing to do with it. But then he said, we conceived on the day after the procedure.
I believe it.
So guess what they named the kid?
Eugene.
No, that's brutal. That would be brutal. That's a beautiful, beautiful blonde girl. No,
Stella.
no. Try again. Let me tell you. You won't be able to guess it.
What?
Jordan, for Michael Jordan.
Oh, because
Is
of
that the
Chicago.
cutest thing in the world?
Yeah.
Anyway, so if you
Oh,
break it down, why that happened, though, so there are a couple of things. One, there was a study done in Italy in 1972, and they took 100 women that could not conceive, did stellates, half of them got pregnant. Also, I wrote a chapter on a guy who had like special forces, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so he had up to 85% of men have sexual dysfunction. I'm not saying anything about your husband. I don't know anything about it. Uh, PTSD by itself will cause sexual dysfunction.
I
The
believe it.
point is, if you can roll it back and people are trying to conceive it, it may actually help them because you're talking about hugging, because part of it is oxytocin,
Yes.
is the love hormone, right? So that's suppressed by trauma. So
Yes.
if that comes back, then this feels really good.
Yes. Yes.
Not interesting though?
It's just like another level. Well, I completely believe that because, well, for so many reasons. And, getting back to our beautiful Elise, um, you know, for years, well, the biggest thing for her that she experienced for years and years and years and years and years, which brought us to you, was whatever you want to call it, night terrors. People have different words for it, but these
Nine tears, whatever term.
nightmares, night terrors. But the thing is when people hear of nightmares, a lot of us have experienced nightmares, and none of them are good. And her night terrors are something like in a horror movie times a million. I mean, it got to be so bad that she asked us if she could put a little camera in her room for like a sensor to just see, like, when she would move in her bedroom, it would go off. So like in the middle of the night, because she could feel it sometimes, like all these different things, and she just wanted to see. This is her journey. So and so we did that for her. And when you talk about what this does to the body, I was very, very sick for many, many years, and many years without getting any answers. A good decade. I went to Mayo Clinic, Cleveland Clinic, like all these places. And so because of that, I had to become an advocate for myself and try to figure things out because I wasn't getting answers. And so I just learned a lot about the body, and I'm just so constantly wanting to learn more. And so with her journey, all these years of going through this, she had times where she had major stomach problems, major stomach pains, different blood work that wasn't great at all. That, and she's very athletic. She does all, eating well, taking the right activators, like doing all these different things. But knowing that her body was constantly in fight or flight, like legit constant fight or flight. Plus, when she's supposed to be resting and digesting, that never happened because she was always on.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not a doctor, but just through my own, I firmly believe, because they never figured out anything with her either, but through different things that we would work through, that was because of her PTSI, because she could never, like all of her health things, journeys.
Well, the PTSD really affects the gut badly. So if you don't mind, let me step back for a second using the term PTSI. Some people have not
Yes.
heard it yet.
Sorry. Yes. 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 I
So
just.
let's introduce that term.
Thank you.
I appreciate you sharing about your daughter, though. PTSD is a term that was coined in 1980 in DSM-3. Then, so Frank Agbert, the very famous psychiatrist who came up with the term Stockholm syndrome,
Yeah.
he thinks the name is stigmatizing. So he went to American Psychiatric Association and tried to change that. They told him no in 2013. I did a study on 3,000 people. I asked them if we change the name to PTSI, meaning it's a real biological condition that is seen on scanners. It's not an invisible wound. There are advanced scanners that could show it to you. And people said, yes, the stigma will get better. I'll see more physicians, I'll get better, blah, blah, blah. And then 2024, they told me no. So actually, one thing that could be helpful, if it's possible, through you and any of your friends, and I think you have a few, I have a website. It's called eatsptsi.com. And if people can fill out a form, it's very quick and simple. So we did 3,000. That was not enough. I'd like to do 10,000, 100,000, a million, whatever. It doesn't cost much, but I think that could be the next life you save, maybe somebody you know.
Yes.
Just the name change, one letter. I'm talking about that actually at TEDx Mexico in January 15th. So the point is, there needs to be that name needs to be changed because it's biologic. If you look at biologic, so it's like you have belly pain, you have this pain, you have that pain, the menstruations are off, they're painful, blah blah blah. It's like, what? I don't understand what's happening, because if you think about it, if your body is running 1,000 miles per hour, no wonder you're not digesting right. Right.
Yes.
So
Yes.
all of that has a side effect, and nightmares is basically, at least the way I understand it, um, you're trying to make sense and resolve the problems that happen, but it's too intense, and that's why it's so disturbing. And if it monitors people's blood pressure and all of this, after during nightmares, the blood pressure goes up, all of that, and it's really bad. And
Yes.
you never get enough sleep. If you don't get enough sleep, the byproducts of thinking, it's called lymphatic system, doesn't get drained, so you never feel right. You're always off, which is this continuous cycle.
Yes.
So that's why it's like we're writing a chapter about in the book about stellate ganglion, about specifically sleep, because sleep is so impacted by stellate, which
Yes.
is great. And hopefully, so let's focus on the positive of your daughter.
Yes.
As
Yes.
much as I like hearing where you were, good background, let's move on. We move
Yes.
on to positive.
And we did for about 11 years, and I'm not putting down any therapies at all. We did, EMDR. We did all these different things trying to just help her, to help that situation specifically. And they just, they continued on. And there was this day where she just had a big one. And it was that God moment of, Lord, just please bring me something like to help her, because she was 18, 17 at that point and getting ready to go on her life. And she's doing something right now called Semester at Sea. And she was so excited about that. It's at a college. It's a boat. It's a cruise. Yeah, it's a floating college. It's a legit school. She's earning college credits, and she's going to 11 different countries and several continents around the
Amazing.
world.
Beautiful experience.
Yes, and she loves travel. She loves, loves, loves travel. But she had to have a roommate, right? And so having that, she's just like, I'm going to freak my roommate out, right? If I have these different things. And so all of that. So I'm like, Lord, please, please, please. And I messaged one of my dearest friends, and she said, I know, like that moment, she messaged Maston, this incredible guy I didn't know, got on the phone, and that became our journey to you. And since she had her block with you, as far as I know, and she's very open about this. So that was in May that you saw her. 6 months ago, she has had like 1.5. And I say a half because, I should say just 2, because it doesn't matter how big or small it is, it's still 1.
Right. Are we to judge?
Yes. And I want to say she would have several every week. So for her to, yes.
That's great. Just so cute.
Well, she went skydiving in Cape Town. She signed up to go.
Just scared to do it.
She went skydiving. She signed up to go cage diving with sharks, but it got canceled because of weather. But that's what she was going to do. She got up at like 4 something to do this huge hike. Like, she's doing things that has brought her back to where she was, like this free, amazing, spirit living and doing. And and owning her life and not having all of this like own her, if that makes sense, or just hold her in.
Because people, what's the young, when was the last time you remember her being that freewheeling or
When
really
she was little.
when she was tiny? Isn't
Yeah.
that horrible? So she lost 10 years of her life for
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
But wouldn't it be amazing if people start to do it more and more? So if it happened at 7, maybe you can treat him at 8. You don't have to lose all that time.
Telling you, and this is what I told you, whatever we can do to help people, because we had no idea. I did a post on this because we were leaving. I've had so on social media just because I'm very just me and I'm not afraid to share anything because I just feel like the more vulnerable we are, because we all have stuff in life, no judgment, it's just all love. And I've had so many people that, I've been close to, I didn't know their story. And, reaching out and sharing, and then, tons and tons, like thousands there that are just like this and that. And if we can save them from, like you said, a decade, because trust me, we were searching. Mama Poe was searching for ways to help my daughter.
You know, it's funny. So so that actually is a good lead in to my new book. Hold on. Hold your thought. It's called The God Shot. It's so cute. Anyway, and the reason it's called that, I treated a Marine and his body had a stellate and it changed his life. So he said, it's a God shot because it changes lives.
Yeah.
So this book we have it, if you want to pre-order it, it's called The God Shot. It'll be an audiobook and it's going to be released February 17th, I believe, of 2020. But the point is, it's just a mere fact that it's possible to move out of this horror.
Yes.
I think it doesn't mean necessarily has to be a stellate. I mean, it's like I like doing the procedures. I came up with that. But the key point is living with misery. And like for example, I took care of a guy who was in Vietnam. He was 19. He had severe PTSD for 50 years. We treated him. He cried like a baby for an hour.
I believe it.
He's still doing great, right? So then we were doing a fundraiser in New York City. His children came over to me and I said, without you, we won't have our father. I almost start crying. It's like, oh my God, that's like overwhelming amount of stuff. But my point is that the message I would have to people is like, know that it's possible to get better.
Yes.
Nobody killed themselves if they have hope. If they think this is going to be the road in front of them forever, why be around?
Yes.
Those are the kind of people I would like them to knock that off,
Yes.
stay alive,
Yes.
have hope that it's possible to treat. There are other treatments, right? There's ketamine, there's TMS. The point is, if it failed, doesn't mean everything's going to fail.
Exactly.
I kind of have to always put that in there, just because there's so many people say, "Well, it'll never work for me. It can't work. I can't do this."
Well,
Well,
we've been through so many things and nothing impacted it.
yeah. Well, people get tired, right? I mean, you get tired. And it's like it's the same old bullshit.
Right?
And especially with children, they're
Yeah.
not stupid.
No.
It's like, well, let's try this as well. I tried 5 things and it
Yeah.
was very painful. So I'm now worse off after I've done this. Now I've talked about this. Now I feel even worse. Now I have more nightmares. Thank you so much. Or I take something that makes you really sleepy. Thank you very much. I mean, the point is there are answers.
And that's just it. The talking, the talking, the talking. And I've had people say, well, you can just like turn it off, or you can just like think.
Snap out. That's my favorite. Snap out of it.
Yeah. Like,
All right. So let me tell you so that now you got me going on that one.
I love it. Yes. Give
So
me another story.
if you look at mental conditions as this amorphous whatever, the implication that you can just snap your finger and say, "Don't worry about it." It's like, first of all, my answer to that is like, "Oh, thank you for explaining it to me. I would have done it already." I really appreciate that.
Totally.
So, and people say PTSD is an invisible wound. My answer is it's invisible if you have the wrong scanner. Get the right scanner, like a PET scan, MX scan, PET scan, you'll be able to see it. So then if you look at, and then in medicine, if you can find a condition, let's say diabetes, a broken leg, he should be able to replicate it in the animal model, right? That'd be the thinking. So, so a broken leg looks a certain way in animal. It looks exactly the same thing in a human, just different bones, but still broken leg. What's interesting is I've treated now 2 dogs with stellate. They had PTSD. It's called VPTSD, and
Mm,
that got reversed. There are also rat experiments in the 70s. They were able to reverse PTSD in rats by using stellate.
wow.
The point is, it's a biologic condition that is visible, that is treatable.
Yes.
And if it's left untreated, people go, "Oh my God, it's a heart disease. You have to prevent it. You take the statins, and you get da da da." Well, it's interesting. Somebody who has PTSD, the chance of heart attack is twice as high as opposed to somebody who doesn't.
I believe
There's
it.
a price to pay.
Yeah.
There's not an increase of cancer. We published a study where we took Canadian Special Forces, measure their biological age. We were able to reverse biological age after the treatment of PTSD by 2.5 years. So we get them potentially 2.5 years extra life, right?
I believe that.
So the point is,
Yeah.
leaving PTSD alone, you can leave it alone, but it's not going to leave you alone.
No, it
It's
doesn't.
got to stay with you. And that, step out of it is a complete bullshit commentary.
Yes,
It's
it is.
some kind of craziness, which is
Yeah.
not based in reality at all.
No.
If somebody says pills don't work, if you look at the statistics, so a combination of pills or the gold standard method in military, it's psychological treatments and pills. The efficacy of it is 41%. Placebo is 35%. And that report came from a colonel from Walter Reed in 2011. So he would know. And I mean, the point is, if it didn't work, and the other thing is, keep taking it for the next 20 years, you're going to get the same result. So if it takes you 6 months to work or never, you may want to switch the method. Don't just keep doing the same. Don't keep digging the same hole.
Yes.
So anyway, that's kind of I'm off my soapbox, but
Well,
whew,
trust me, if it was as easy as just forget about it,
yeah, that's simple. Thank you so much for that.
like that would rule. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
And it's and
sorry, it doesn't work like that.
that's where it becomes really lonely too. It becomes that place of you're trying to be so strong, but you've got all these things going on, but you just keep pushing through. But you've got all these things going on. And
The
again,
monkey is still chattering, right?
your mind is my mind constantly chattering. And it's interesting too, we've seen it with our daughter and then even with myself, but we have this really awesome, great friend who is, he works in medicine and just is very in tune with healing and all these different things. And I trust him completely. But even when I sat on the table and he came behind me, this was years ago, like my body would just like would go into like, and he
Oh,
brought it to me.
hypervigilance. Yeah.
Yeah. And you can see how that would, and I was like, wow, you're right. And you are a person I trust. But it's just that body always like trying to protect itself constantly.
Well, but if you think about one of the things you may not have noticed
Yeah.
in our clinic, all the nurses are women, right? So there's always a nurse in the room when I'm talking to a young lady
Yes.
because I think that reduces. And I certainly never walk behind anyone because I'm very sensitive to that,
Yeah.
right? Because you need to be able to see it, you need to accommodate, you need to knock on the
And
door.
your bed is facing the door. The beds in there are facing, so then you.
Yeah, you can see everything. There's a reason for all of that, right? We don't want to shock people, and we want to have people like I used to take care of women who were abused. And I was like, no, 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 no,
Yeah.
you know. So anyway,
Yeah.
we can talk like that forever, but I think usually I do a 30-minute. This is now almost an hour.
Oh my
So
gosh.
closing remarks, my friend.
What's that? What are my closing remarks? Is that what you said?
Anything you'd like to put in, the ether in the universe?
Yeah.
You
Well,
don't have. I think you shared a ridiculous amount of stuff, and I think it could help a lot of people. It can truly save lives.
well,
Just the
that's
mere fact that people become aware there are other options and there is hope. Like this book that I just wrote,
yes.
it's a message of hope that it's possible to get out of the craziness you're in because
Yes.
it's a physiological condition Like sometimes it takes a long time to heal a leg, but you need to move toward the healing, right?
Yeah. Well, and even when I left your clinic for the first time with my daughter, and then I read your book, Invisible Machine, coming home, and you explained PTSI. I did a post about that and shared that with people. And I can't even begin to tell you how many people like were mouth dropped, but they said thank you. Yes, yes, thank you. And I know you have mentioned about like the stigma and like the feelings of it. And that I feel just kind of made them feel just that one letter change alone of hope of yes, this is what it is. And
Got it. Yeah.
I feel like they felt more seen too.
Yeah.
And like
No,
it's not
absolutely. And then the other part that I find in women, especially men, don't do that as much.
sure.
But the women second guess themselves. Like, maybe something's wrong with me, and maybe I did something to encourage it.
Yeah.
Fuck no,
Yeah.
no,
Right.
no. It just bad things happen. We
Yes.
need to, it's like realize it and move on.
Yes. Yes. Well, here's the deal. It works. It works. I wouldn't be here if it didn't. I've seen it with my daughter now, and I can't tell you, I thank God for you and everything that you've done in the team every single day. Like I prayed before we went there, and every single day since. I knew when we had the consultation with your team that day in this room, my daughter and I knew that day this was going to be something that I would be doing myself as soon as we got her taken care of.
I
And
just wanted to see if it worked for her. I got it.
yeah, and she was going on her cruise, and we had to get her.
I like giving you grief. That's
We have fun together. So get her, and I told my husband that too right away. I said doing this, and then he wanted to do it as well. And it is my heart's cry, and I think you hit on it so much today of hope. And that's like the biggest thing for people because we lose hope. You've tried everything, you've been there, and maybe people around you, even your closest family and friends or whatnot, they don't necessarily understand. And that's hard. Or they might even say, try this, try that. And you're like, I've done it. Or they might be, snap out of it. I've had that too. Trust me. And just keep the hope alive. Listen to your heart. Your heart always knows. Look to this man and why he's doing this. He wouldn't be on here doing podcasts and spending a lot of time just doing things if it wasn't his mission to make a difference in the world. And so look at that and know that if we can help you save time to live the life that you are put here to live with vitality, with joy, with purpose, fun, spontaneity, and just with love and light. And if we can, like he said, fast track that, I know that we all have our journeys and things happen on the times that they do, because then we can go and we can make this difference with other people now. So we don't take any of that away. But it was for me 40 years of living like this. 40.
well. I'm glad it's over. I'm glad you're going to have an amazing life. We'll
Yes.
stay in touch. If you don't mind, I'm going to sign off. And I hope your beautiful family continues to do great, and we'll continue chatting.
Well, thank you for everything. Elise, thanks you too. We love you and
Thank
everybody. Okay. Bye bye.
Thank you.